In this video, I would like to take it back to some very basic fundamentals. Today I've compiled my top 10 helpful plant terms all hobbyists should know, so here they are. But first, hey plant friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Pete. I'm a plant hobbyist based in the UK, and on this channel we explore all aspects of plant keeping. I share my plant keeping tips and let you guys see how my plant journey is going. Deadheading refers simply to removing the dead flower heads from your plants. I've got good news for you. Deadheading is easy, and removing spent flowers has multiple benefits. Not only does the process clean up the plant's appearance, but it also controls the spread of seeds and encourages your flowers and plants to grow thicker and fuller than before. So if you have a plant that is flowering and you think it could be starting to die back a little, maybe just not looking as good as it did, try removing some of the old dried up heads. You might soon start to see new growth elsewhere in the plant. Mulch is basically an additional layer over the top of your compost or growing medium. This has three benefits. Number one, it acts as a weed barrier. Mulch blocks the light over the growing medium at the base of the plant and suffocates the weeds. Number two is for moisture retention. By blocking the light, mulch helps your compost retain more moisture, so you have to water less often. Number three, as a finishing touch. Mulch adds a clean, decorative touch to your garden, helping boost the overall aesthetic. Materials such as decaying leaves, bark or compost spread around or over the plant to enrich or insulate the soil is great. A succulent can be described as any plant with thick, fleshy tissues adapted for water storage. Some succulents like cacti have no leaves or very small leaves, whereas others like agaves store water mainly in their leaves. Most succulents have a deep or broad root system and are native to either deserts or regions that have a semi-arid season. Growing succulents can be a great introduction to gardening, as they can be easy to grow. One of the most exciting things about growing succulents is the amazing range of forms and colours available. Buying from a specialist supplier will give you the widest choice. The term botanical name and scientific name are often used interchangeably, which are often known as binomials, literally two-part name. Scientific names or Latin names are the standardized names of plants that are accepted by scientists no matter what languages they speak or where they are in the world. They're chosen by the first person to formally describe a species in a scientific article and can be updated over time if scientists learn new information. Every botanical name has at least two parts, a genus name and a species epithet. The genus name comes first, then the species epithet. You can think of the species epithet as more detailed information that adds on to the genus name. We're still doing things the way this one guy, Carlos Linnaeus, thought we should back in 1753. Basically, scientists still name species Linnaeus' way because no other idea has caught on as widely yet, and because changing the system now that it's been used to describe over 1 million species would be quite difficult. It's far from perfect, but it's what the horticultural community has to work with. Pruning is when you selectively remove branches or stems from a plant. The goal is to remove unwanted branches, improve the plant structure, and direct new, healthy growth. Pruning is one of the best things you can do for your plant. A proper prune is both an investment in the long-term health of your plants as well as the overall look. When you remove old stems, you give plants the green light to put out healthy, new growth. Plants can be propagated in numerous ways. Some of these include seeds, cuttings, layering, and division. One of the most common methods of propagating plants is through seeds. There are 4 factors influencing successful plant seed propagation: heat, light, water, and oxygen. Cutting plant propagation techniques. Cuttings involve rooting a piece of the parent plant, such as a leaf, tip, stem, or root. Both herbaceous and woody plants can be propagated through cuttings. Generally, cuttings from herbaceous plants can be taken anytime. Softwood cuttings are best taken in late spring to early summer, while hardwood cuttings should be taken when plants are dormant during the autumn and winter. Most cuttings should be around 3 to 6 inches or 7.5 to 15 centimeters long with diagonal cuts. Any lower leaves should be removed and the cuttings should be placed in a growing medium, sand, soil, water or peat and perlite, after being dipped in rooting hormone, which is optional but recommended. Layering plant propagation techniques. Layering involves rooting part of the parent plant prior to severing it. Simple layering is accomplished by bending a branch to the ground, adding some soil over the middle portion, and then anchoring it in place with a stone. Winding the branch can often help encourage the rooting process. Once roots appear, the branch can be severed from the mother plant. Division plant propagation techniques. Division involves breaking up clumps of plants to form new ones. These are usually dug up from under the ground or done during the repotting in container plants. When dividing plants, each section should contain roots, bulbs or tubers in order for the plant to thrive. These can be replanted in the ground or in containers. Perennial plants regrow every spring, while annual plants live for only one growing season, then die off. Perennials generally have a shorter blooming period compared to annuals. Plants that perform their entire life cycle from seed to flower to seed within a single growing season are called annuals. All roots, stems and leaves of the plant die annually. Only the dormant seed bridges the gap between one generation and the next. What does it mean if a plant is herbaceous? Herbaceous plants are plants that, by definition, have non-woody stems. Technically, all annual plants are herbaceous because an annual is a non-woody plant. Annuals take it a step further and die altogether at the end of their lone growing season. Horticulture is a smaller, specialised area of agriculture, and gardening is a small part of horticulture. Horticulture is more scientific than gardening, since horticulturists have to grow and sell high-quality plants that will serve their purpose well. Gardening is the lay term for horticulture, and is a verb referring to the act of planting or planting or growing a garden. Horticulture is a noun meaning the study of gardening, but it can also mean the act of gardening. A horticulturalist can be a person whose work involves growing fruits, vegetables, flowers, or ornamental plants. A botanist is an expert in or a student of the scientific study of plants. Botany is a pure science in which botanists study plant life. Horticulture is a branch or field of botany that deals with edible or ornamental plants. It's an applied science. Horticulturalists don't do research. Instead, they use or apply the scientific research performed by botanists. They are often employed by universities or work for industrial manufacturers like biological supply houses, pharmaceutical companies, or petrochemical plants. Ecologists study the relationship between plants, animals, and their environment. An example of ecology is studying the food chain in a wetlands area. The aim of their work could range from balancing the needs of the environment to coming up with ideas for land management. Ecologists also study the two-way interaction between biotic and abiotic factors, how organisms change their habitat and how the habitat changes the population. Okay plant friends, that's my list of top 10 plant terms every beginner hobbyist should know. I hope you found this video useful, and just know that there's so much more to learn about horticulture. You're literally at the start of your journey. I'm constantly learning new things about plants all the time. That's what I love about it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like or subscribe if you would like to see more useful plant information like this. Thanks for watching.